Hey guys, it's Jake Mace, the vegan athlete. This is an insane tree. Look at the size of this tree. I'm gonna give some love to the tree. I like this tree because I've got two of her grandbabies in my yard in the Phoenix area. So let's cut to the video and I'll show you guys the history of this avocado tree. Hey guys, so you called me up last night and said let's go on a gardening adventure, and it was to this place. And what the heck is this place?
This is the birthplace
of this avocado tree that you're attached to.
Yeah.
And we call it the Aravaipa avocado because we're in Aravaipa Canyon.
Correct.
So this avocado tree has been here probably for over a century or more. It predates the people who actually own the property and live here currently.
Right.
And who knows who planted it.
Right.
It gets fed by the water of the creek that runs year round.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that in this area, it hasn't really snowed heavily in a few years since global warming has taken over, but it used to snow here.
Right.
In the wintertime, and it gets pretty hot. I mean, it's hot right now. It's over 100 today.
Yeah.
So very similar climate to Phoenix. And years ago, you and some of the Arizona rare fruit growers took budwood off this tree to start the Aravaipa trees.
Actually, Dr. Al Falkenstein took some budwood back in 08, 09, the last time we came up here.
And you and I have both done a video from his tree in his yard in Mesa.
He has 2 trees in his yard.
In Mesa.
Right. And then about 5 years ago, I took budwood from his trees, and now we're growing these down in the Phoenix area.
So the ones in my yard are the grandbabies.
Correct.
Dr. Al Falkenstein's is the babies.
Right.
And this is the mom.
Yep.
That's so cool.
That's cool, yeah.
Let's go measure the size of the trunk and see if we can put our arms around it.
Yeah.
So there's no way I can fit my arms around. But if we got Shamus over there and Brandon over there, probably 2.5 men's arm lengths, right?
Just about.
That's pretty big.
It has a fruit right here.
So it's May right now, but it doesn't actually have ripe fruit till the end of the summer. So we're a few months early for the ripe fruit.
Right.
But it already flowered instead its little baby fruits.
Wow.
The people who own the property currently said they've lived here since 1956, and this tree has been around since 50 or 60 years or more before that.
You know, what's funny is maybe the naysayers are right, that avocados won't grow in Arizona. Well, this was here before Arizona was Arizona.
Oh.
1912.
I'm not a history buff, but whatever country laid claim to the Arizona territory before America did, before it was a state, that's who actually gets claim rights to this tree.
That's the logic we should go with.
You know, I learned from the owner of the property here is that if you take the leaf of the avocado off and break the essential oils out,
As an anise smell.
anise or even like a licorice,
Right.
like a fennel,
Black licorice.
black licorice. And they said that some of his chefs he knows actually use this to accent food.
Right.
And it does, it smells amazing. I'm gonna go home and smell mine and see if it's similar, because what I've noticed is that through you, I've learned about a lot of different varieties of avocados.
Okay.
Both the fruits and the trees. And they all look different. You know, 50, 60 kinds of avocados or more that we have experienced together. And they all look different. Leaf structure, fruit, tree shape. But when I came here, my Aravaipas in my yard in Phoenix area look exactly the same leaf structure as this one.
Yep.
So it is the clone of this tree.
This tree, this type of avocado has a harder, thicker leaf
It does.
than the more tropical avocados.
Why do you think
Yeah.
that's good for Arizona?
It's acclimated to our climate. A little bit more cold, a little bit more heat.
Yeah.
So you'll notice on the more tropical varieties of avocado, the California avocados, the leaves are very tender, thin.
But they're growing really well here. They're growing citrus really well. They're growing pecan really well.
Beautiful
They're growing
pecans.
pomegranate really well. But their focus, it seems that this family is not necessarily to be gardeners nowadays. It seems like they mentioned to me that back in the day before 1950 something, this was a much more thriving fruit orchard with hundreds of varieties of
Correct.
fruit trees and citrus and things like that.
Right.
So now we see some date palms, some pecans that are the mature remnants of that past orchard. So you brought them two of the grandbabies.
Right. To replace this one as it ages out.
Yeah.
So we're actually, I think these are going to get planted over on the west side of this tree between the avocado and the pomegranate. So they're going to see a lot of shade the first few years.
So you're responsible for getting these grafted. The seed grows up. You grafted the Aravaipa budwood on it. Now these are what, 1 or 2 years old or something? From
These
the graft?
are a little over a year old. Probably about a year and a quarter.
So it's kind of like a homecoming.
It is.
The clone babies or grandbabies are coming back to the mom.
Deja vu all over again.
That's so cool, man.
That's cool, yeah.
I'm almost getting a little bit sentimental about that.
Zoom in on that.
Oh my god, it's so beautiful.
Take your glasses off, dude.
No, just have some allergies out here right now.
It's dusty.
In 2015, we had enough foresight to video myself planting a small 1 foot tall 3 gallon Aravaipa from you. Now 2 years later, I mean the height of the trees is beyond.
Yeah.
It's I think beyond 12 feet now tall.
Right.
And probably I would say close to 9 feet wide.
Yeah.
And the structure looks great. The leaves look fantastic. They flowered this year for the first time ever. We were discussing the other day in private. We were just hanging out that avocados actually work very well in Phoenix
Yes.
if you have a little bit of skills with good healthy soil, a good microclimate, a lot of mulch, a good water schedule, and probably shading it for the first summer or two.
You know, honestly, you don't even need to have any skills. You just need to be able to follow directions.
Yeah.
70-80% shade fabric the first couple summers. Try and keep the wind off them when they're young.
This is my third summer. I'm not shading it.
Yeah. Water and feed them regularly.
Mhm.
That's all you need.
Your avocado trees are nice.
And I'm not
Really
anything
good.
special. I'm just a normal dude.
That is true. You're not anything special.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
So I think that anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for setting up this adventure today.
It's my pleasure.
It's kind of like, a short adventure.
Yeah.
And thanks for coming along.
Yeah.
And I love carpooling with you guys, just hanging out. So it's a small group. But it was nice to actually see the mom tree before it passes away.
Right.
Because I'm
Yeah.
planning on my baby trees getting to be this size.
It's a big
So-
tree.
Yeah,
It's a gorgeous
beautiful
tree.
Does the creek flow year round?
Yeah.
That's
Here
awesome.
it's never been dry. We moved here in 1956 and it's never been dry. There was a homesteader in the early part of the 20th century
Oh.
and he homesteaded 120 acres.
Oh,
There
okay.
used to be a 40 up there which my father sold when I was a kid.
Did he come from a different country, or was he from Mexico? Was he from China? Was he?
The homesteader?
Yeah.
I don't
Was he like a
I
prospector,
don't know his
cowboy
name.
kind of guy?
No, he was this used to be a beautiful orchard. It's slowly deteriorated over the years.
Okay.
And he planted, I don't know, there must have been 100 orange, grapefruit, lemon,
Wow.
primarily citrus in here with a few pecans.
So some of these pecans and citrus are probably left
That's
over
an
from that
original
time.
tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look great.
And the avocado's original tree. Those pomegranates over there, original tree.
Supposedly the story was that his kid played football with
Yes.
somebody's
with
kids.
Zach.
With him.
Yeah.
And that someone mentioned that, talking about javelina hunting.
Yes.
And that we
Yes.
should come up when the
Yes.
when the avocados are fruiting.
Yeah.
We're like, what do you mean when the avocados are fruiting?
Well,
And that's what brought us up like
when they fell
8
on the
years
ground and they come in,
The javelinas.
the
Yeah.
javelinas come in.
Okay.
So
And
what would
so-
you say is the history of the avocado tree? So we
It's
have
been
it on
here
camera?
since probably the teens, 19 teens.
19 teens.
Yeah.
And how do you
Wow.
know? How do you date that?
Because my brother had to do research on this property from the first person that homesteaded it and planted the trees up to now, and it had to be documented that it had been an agricultural site
Oh.
because this water is sought after by the tribes down in the valley.
Oh, okay.
The Gila River, it's part of the Gila River watershed.
Okay.
So you got a 100-year time capsule in these trees sitting here. you know?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Every other year it would fruit just huge amounts of fruit.
Do you guys ever water it with irrigation?
Oh
Or is
yeah,
it just
you see,
getting
that's
off
why
the
it's
table?
green around there. It gets, these are pump lines
Sure.
that we throw just a hose in there and water it.
What do you guys like about living out here, kind of off the grid? Is that what you would call it, or what would you call it?
I don't know, it's just where we grew up.
It's where you grew up.
Mhm.
What's your opinion of living out here as opposed to like living in a city in like Phoenix? Just honestly.
Well, I'm just more comfortable in the country. I've never been completely comfortable in town, even though I've lived there for 40 years.
It's nice out here. It's quiet.
It is, it's quiet.
It's beautiful.
Does it snow in the winter?
It has snowed. Not since global warming took over, but you know,
really?
the most snow we ever
Wow.
had here was about 6 inches on the ground.
So not for years though.
No.
Wow.
It'll snow in the hills around.
Really nice.
you know.
And this is a
Yeah.
date palm. Does it actually fruit?
It used to. We haven't been taking care of it.
Sure.
One of my brothers planted it.
So when the tree does fruit, what do they taste like?
Oh, they're really good. But you can't. If one fell on the ground and it's ripe, you could probably pick it up and eat it without peeling it.
Right.
It's better if it's peeled. I really don't know any more about it other than it's been there since I was a little kid. Its location is
I
what
almost
they-
bought a 40-acre property by the Grand Canyon, but there was no water.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that benefit of this
Yeah.
is that you have water right there.
Yeah, perennial creek.
So if you're gonna grow your own food. You know, when I see trees like this avocado tree that have over 100 years of history, I think about longevity. I'm really into longevity. I call my garden Longevity Gardens. And trees like this are a time capsule. Think about the things that they have lived through and experienced over the past 100 years. I just think that's really cool that we get a chance to see a 100-year-old avocado tree that has lived through a whole bunch in Arizona that I've got some budwood off of. And literally this thing is like a time capsule. So when you guys are planting your fruit trees in your yards, remember, if you do a good job, like whoever planted this tree did, it will live past your lifetime, and your kids and grandkids will climb that tree and eat the fruit, and you'll be able to communicate with the future people through that tree. I love it. Mr. Shamus O'Leary, you're here at your famous avocado tree's home, and you're bathing in the water that the tree bathes in.
It's fertilizer for the tree.
What do you think about the Aravipa avocado tree getting watered with this water compared to like city water?
That's why it does so well.
Tell us about that.
A lot of nutrients in the water, fish emulsion, seaweed, nitrogen, all sorts of stuff I can't pronounce or spell.
Different kinds of minerals.
Yep. That's why everything through here is so lush and green.
If you guys want us to do more gardening adventures like this, whether it's in Hawaii we've talked about, Costa Rica we've talked about, maybe Thailand we've talked about, hit the like button, comment down below, subscribe to Shamus, me, and Greenies Garden, and follow us all on Instagram because we're very liquid and very consistent on Instagram. Greenies Garden, Shamus_O'Leary_, and Jake Mace Tai Chi. My Facebook page is Urban Gardening in Arizona with Jake Mace, and go vegan, grow your food at home, and we will see you guys back here next time.